Yeah. Look, shorty, it's a bomb in the building. When I link with you, nothing else matters. What you trying to do? Yeah. I got me some time set aside for you. Yeah. Spend a little more if the vibe is cool. Come and vibe with you. When I link with you, I got the juice that is right for you. Don't be ashamed, spend the night with you. Do all the things that you trying to do. If the vibe is cool, when I link with you. I've always been.
All right. We are back. Sorry, folks. I had to get out for a little bit. Went on vacation. You know what I mean? Concerts, camping, resort, the whole nine. Had a great time. Needed to take a break, spend some time with the family. So that's what we did, and it was much needed. So, Cornelius, did you miss me?
Of course, sir. Your presence adds much needed excitement.
Yeah. All right. So, like I said, had some time to get away. And came back to a ton of stuff. We got a ton of stuff to get to. This will probably be the longest episode we've had so far. What do we got to talk about? We got to talk about Phoenix and AI music. We are going to go back. We're going to get back on the project pipeline. We're going to get to the radio station because, the radio station been wilding. That was hilarious. And like I said, listen, I don't have the feeling that the radio station is useless. Like a lot of people just hate the local Phoenix radio station. Like they just don't dig it. But like, what they did over the past week was hilarious. They like trolling on a master level. It was hilarious. We're gonna get to it. What else? We're gonna talk a little bit about music reviews. We're gonna talk about music reviews, and with the music reviews, we are going to speak on AZWayTooActive. They did an interview recently. I don't know if they still do it. I know that they did the music review with Yes Jules from the radio station. So that's kind of how that's going to connect. But AZWayTooActive and Staz, I believe, did an interview recently that everybody failed this one. Like the artist, like Staz, like I love you, brother, I do. But like, if we're gonna get better, we have to call out the shit and just make sure that we don't do it. Listen, if we operate this way to folks outside of Arizona, yeah, that's fine. But like, we can't have our people looking kind of crazy in some of these interviews. So we're gonna touch on that. But yeah, so Cornelius, where do you want to start?
I believe the best course of action is to begin with the growing epidemic of AI music in Arizona. How are you prepared to handle the abundance of AI music showing up in Arizona, sir?
Okay, Phoenix and AI music. All right, right off the bat, let me just say this. We're slamming out any AI music regarding the artist. And what I mean by that is that if you're an artist that is now doing like AI music, and I'm talking about the AI's writing it, the AI's doing the vocals, like it's AI music, okay? Then we not jacking that. I don't know who told y'all that shit was gonna be cool. I don't know who told y'all that shit's gonna fly. Listen, I mean, in this day and age, you can make money from a lot of things. So listen, get your money. But what I'm saying is, at least from the bomber, you're not getting any respect if you have an AI that's the artist. You know what I mean? And like I said, I feel bad for producers because unfortunately, the AI beat side of it, I think eventually is going to be accepted. Eventually, they're going to figure out how to do rights and things like that. And once again, it's just the producers are the ones that are going to get shafted in the long haul because hey, you know what? If you don't want to sell me a beat, give me a beat, collaborate on a beat, well then I'll take that idea, feed it into the AI, and produce the exact same thing and just cut you out completely. You understand what I'm saying? So that's kind of where the producers are going to end up getting the shaft. So my advice to producers when it comes to AI music, like these relationships have got to get better as far as people are just not buying beats left and right anymore. It's not business savvy. You know what I mean? It doesn't. It doesn't make sense when you can get the exact same outcome for half the price, you know what I mean? Or not even that, you know what I mean? For whatever the subscription is to whatever AI music software that you're using right now. Like, listen, AI is everywhere. AI is now a part of everyday life, and we got to get in kind of where we fit in and figure out what works and what we're not going to accept. All right, because like I said, there's going to be AI music, and I'm talking about AI music as far as like artists that it's a guy in a prompt. He ain't singing, he ain't performing, he ain't writing, he ain't doing none of that. And like I said, I'm not jumping on it as a bad thing. What I'm saying is that you're gonna go over there. You understand what I'm saying? Like, there's gonna be a specific area for folks that want to do that. But like I said, as hard as I think we work as artists to write, to record, to get it sounding good with our own vocals, with the way that we do it. You're not getting any brownie points with me when it comes to somebody that has an entire song completely AI. I know the Phoenix flexing things done gone crazy, and unfortunately, yes, we've got folks in Arizona that have jumped on the Goof Troop train, and I listen. It's none of my business. However they do their business is on them. It's goofy. Like, it's not something that I'm jacking. You know what I mean? And so the rest of Arizona can make the decision for themselves. But yeah, the total AI thing, I don't think is ever going to be respected in any serious community. You know what I mean? So like I said, that's my thing on AI. Like I said, I know that there are artists out here, and that's the other thing. Y'all need to understand that, if you do any type of research on an artist and can't find a person, what I mean, like, you know what I mean, a video, a picture, an interview, something where you're seeing an actual person, you're red flagged off jump, like right off the bat. Oh, this is AI. And me personally, I'm keeping it moving. There's a lot of people that are just keeping it moving. But so folks that are trying to like get the finesse off, please don't have like a social media or a website or whatever with 100% AI, and we can't even find a resemblance of a human being anywhere. It's gonna be a dead giveaway. So I'm not on the AI shit. When it comes to music, it's just not something that I can get behind when it comes to artistry. Like I said, when it comes to the writing, to the recording, to the sound, the vocals, like that's just not something that I'm gonna be backing. Now, I do use other forms of AI, Chat GPT, image generation. Like I use a lot of AI. I mean, Cornelius is an AI. You know what I mean? So I do use AI, but like I said, when it comes to a human skill that is just so hard to master, that is so hard to get good at, get great at. I'm laughing you out the building if you come to me with an artist that is clearly no more than a computer program. You know what I mean? All right. So yeah, that's AI. Cornelius, what do you want to do next?
Now would be a good time to discuss music reviews, sir, and shed some light on your personal dealings in the matter.
Music reviews. Okay. All right. So here, listen, let's start here with music reviews. What are artists expecting to get out of music reviews? Like let's just say that I'm an artist that wants to do a music review. Now listen, I don't do music reviews. Like there's very little that I can get from these music review platforms. There's not much they can tell me about my own song. You understand what I'm saying? You want feedback, and I do want feedback on my own music, obviously, but like I feel like a lot of artists are looking for like validation on whether their song is good or not. I'm not looking for that validation. Like, the song got made, the song is good. I'm now trying to figure out where the song would work best, where it can be the most profitable, where it can do the most good. And that's not at a music review. A quick story. I have one of my favorite DJs. And I'm not gonna say the name just because it's a big DJ. But I would do music reviews a lot. A couple years ago, I would, hey, what do you think about this? What do you think about that? And obviously, a lot of those music reviews come with like, you have to pay. You know what I mean? And like I said, thinking about it now, I was like, Adam, what the fuck were you doing? You know what I mean? Like, what was that? But I guess now I'm realizing that this particular DJ is how do you say this? Heavily backed or heavily pushing a lot of Young Miami's records. You know what I mean? And I guess how do I differentiate? Like, do you think the song is good, or are you getting paid to play the song? You understand what I'm saying? Because both of them have their own issues for me, anyway. You know what I mean? Because I like there's obviously been some good Young Miami songs, but like I said, when you're wholeheartedly behind some of this shit, I'm like, that's where I want to have the conversation. I'm like, yo, so is this what is great? What is so great about this? What? Give me an aspect of this song that is done really well. That is something that people should copy. Those are the type of conversations that I like to have, and most folks aren't willing to have that conversation because this is the music business, and it comes down to, yo, I got a bag for this. You know what I mean? And it's cool. Like, if you say that, that's fine. But like I said, that interaction and that realization that I came to was the kind of final straw in the, bro, what the fuck is the point of music reviews? You understand what I'm saying? Like, I mean, artists shouldn't need the validation of somebody telling them their song's good. It's a feeling. Like, you just got to know. You know what I mean? Like, I work so hard pre-studio session so that when I go into the session, I know that whatever I record is going to be at this caliber. You know what I mean? There's very few rogue atom bomb records that are floating out there that are just clearly below the bar. You know what I mean? Because I worked hard to get to the point where I was not wasting money and time at the studio unless I knew that, hey, this is going to bring back equal value, if not more. You understand what I'm saying? So yeah, the whole music review thing, I don't at this point, I understand that we all go through it. There's not everyone's not at the same level and stage of their music journey. But I would always ask, artists, what do you expect to get out of these music reviews? Like, people aren't signing artists like that anymore. Like, okay, if an artist tells you that your song is great, what next? If a music reviewer tells you that your song is trash, what happens after that? Like, what are you expecting to get out of these music reviews? You understand what I'm saying? And so I say that because I believe it was Staz, which is AZWayTooActive, and Yes Jules from the radio station in Phoenix. And how can I say this? They did a music review, and it was. Let's just keep it a beat. It was awful. It was terrible. Like, I don't. Here's the first thing. I feel like if you're gonna do a music review, you're gonna have to do some type of screening process, some type of process to where you're not wasting listeners' time with a whole bunch of hot garbage. And this is not just an Arizona problem. All music review platforms have this issue to where they'll spend fucking an hour and a half on shit that shouldn't even be played. You're gonna have to have someone that takes in this stuff before recording, before the live, and like gives it a pre-check. You know what I'm saying? To make sure that that is worth something. You know what I mean? Last thing you want to do, because what ends up happening is, and I'll tell you, what ended up happening was they Yes Jules and Staz, they did this music review, and you had like song after song after song of just hot garbage. You know what I mean? And they're having to like pretend and like act like, there's a lot of times when Jules wasn't even paying attention, which I don't blame her. If the song's trash, like, yeah, like whatever. But you should be putting in the time to listen to the records. And like I said, y'all don't want to listen to garbage records. I totally get it, which is why you have to have the pre-check. You know what I mean? And then it also doesn't help that you got Staz there fucking bobbing his head off beat. Like, it just, oh my God, it wasn't a good look for nobody involved. So, like I said, I'm telling you that if people want to do music reviews, I know a lot of folks are doing the music reviews. It's a cash grab. Like, I get it. You know what I mean? It kind of is what it is. But if you're going to do that, you need to do it so that it looks legitimate. You know what I mean? Because a lot of these, it just looks like a giant waste of time. And then, you start hearing people getting mad because they're not sending in the music. Yo, I don't want my music jumbled in with all of that garbage. You know what I mean? I don't want it like lumped in. That's the issue with a lot of these lists. It's like you have these, these song lists, and like, if you have a good ear and you know what you're looking at, you know what the music business is, you ask yourself, why would I want my music lumped in with all of these? You understand what I'm saying? Does that make sense? So like I said, the music review thing, I think we need to cut it out completely or change the way that we do it. You know what I mean? Make it an event. Make it a thing as, hey, yo, you know what? Adam Bomb will, stop by the live on this Thursday night while we review his new song. And the reason why I say that is because I think that there's a small list, and there's a very small list of artists in Arizona that if they drop new music, you need to listen. You understand what I'm saying? Especially if you're a DJ. Because that might be the one that, oh, yeah, I can use that one at this location. But the problem is that, like I said, you've got all of these lists, and it's like, hey, this person dropped a new track, this person dropped a new track, this person dropped a new track. But the problem is all three of those have dropped, let's just say, five tracks in the last, I don't know, 8 months, and none of them have been any good. So at that point, why should I check for the next one? You understand what I'm saying? We definitely need to highlight the people that have consistency, you know what I mean, that are constantly putting out great stuff. And because that's what's going to draw more people in. People are going to trust you that your music review show, that your list or whatever it is that you're doing is going to have things of value, songs of value. Like, it's going to have good shit on it. You know what I mean? I'm telling you, people don't give a fuck about these music reviews because they know that 75%, and that's being low, is going to be a bunch of garbage. You know what I mean? So yeah, my recommendation, and that's the other thing, Jules. Like, you're with the radio station. This was a bad look for the radio station. I wouldn't continue that unless you're going to revamp it. You know what I mean? I don't think that and like I said, if this conversation that I'm having you had with your boss, they'd probably tell you the same thing. Yeah, we don't, we kind of want to elevate the radio station in Phoenix and not do things that can be picked apart just because they were kind of half-assed, and that's kind of what this was. And then Stas, like I said, I love you, brother. But I don't know if you're the best person to be judging music. I don't know if that's we're all fans of music. Like, we all have our taste. We have what we like. But yeah, but bro, yeah, dog. I don't think a certain stature of artist needs Stas's approval. You know what I mean? And after that music review, it was blatantly obvious. You know what I mean? So let's pull back on the music reviews, unless it's going to be a full overhead. You know what I mean? Changes. Yeah, and like I said, so we were talking about AZWayTooActive and Stas. So we're gonna roll into the next one. We're gonna talk about this interview. In fact, like, let me take a break real quick. Cornelius, do something. Sorry about that. Coffee was getting cold. All right, so we're talking about AZWayTooActive and Stas. They do interviews. They've been doing interviews for a long time. But this particular interview that they did, it just didn't turn out the greatest. You know what I mean? And it just so happened to be with one of those artists that's on that short list of guys that if they put out music, like, you have to give it a listen. You know what I mean? And that artist is Merkham's. You know what I mean? And listen, like, I know that y'all have tons of jokes for Merkham's or whatever, the hit that wasn't, and, you poke fun at a lot of the questionable moves, whatever, but now's not the time for that. Like, that's not what we're doing here today. We're just talking about how the big time artists that we do have in Arizona, myself included, like, we have to make sure that we're making them look as best as possible. You know what I mean? And like I said, we're going to go over this as we talk about this clip, but, like, media training is a thing. So, like I said, this isn't all on Stas and AZWayTooActive. Merkham's and his team are going to have to hold the brunt of some of this. But yeah, just being able to conduct yourself in these different interviews, because you're going to get a lot of different types of questions. And like I said, these two particular questions we're going to look at are very easy in my my estimation. But like I said, it gets a lot tougher, a lot harder. I mean, because there's tons of topics that you could discuss with myself or artists or Merkham's that would be, oh, wow, what is he going to say about this? And, I haven't seen any of those questions get asked. So like I said, this is playing the game on easy, and I just think that we need to be better as we go forward. And like I said, Arizona as a whole needs to make sure that we don't have them tripping up on our watch. You know what I mean? So yeah, Cornelius, let's roll clip number 1.
Is there more unity or more division in the local music scene in Arizona and Phoenix than ever before? What are your thoughts on that?
I feel like we want unity, but this shit is not unified right now. If you want me to be all the way real, we want unity, but I don't chill with these niggas. I be in my little cave creating. Everybody do their thing. Y'all do y'all thing. The other media do their thing. I see it. I see what's going on. Of course, we want the most. I would love for this shit to be more, but we not there yet.
All right, so those that know, that laugh is very telling. Like, I don't know why this question made him uncomfortable, and his answer, it's just telling. It's telling. But listen, yes, we all want unity. We want unity in Arizona. We want togetherness. We want all of that. And he's right. There's way more division and divisiveness than there's ever been when it comes to unity as far as Arizona music and Arizona hip hop. But my question is, what are you doing to bring that unity in? You know, you say that you want unity. What are you doing to make that happen? All right. You know what I'm saying? Because like I said, when it comes to that, and then what does unity look like for you? You know what I mean? Like, what would it have to be for you to say that, hey, Arizona is unified? Like, see, a lot of these people, they don't have any vision. They can't see it, so they can't tell you about it, which is why these interviews are a lot of times not a good idea. Like this, I think this was a very basic question. This is a very easy question, but like I said, when you ask these questions, whoever's got to answer it, it can be telling if you don't know what you're doing, if you're not maybe, I don't know, properly media trained. Because like I said, yeah, what is unity in your eyes? Like, tell us about it. What does the utopia of Arizona hip hop look like? You know, and what would it take for you to say that, oh yeah, Arizona is unified, you know? And like I said, the other thing is that what are you doing to bring that to fruition? Because I can tell you what doesn't help. It doesn't help if you've got artists that think they're bigger than they are and that are trying to charge these much lesser artists this ridiculous fee that doesn't make it. Don't get me started on that. But here, listen, and I'm not saying this just poking fun at people, or it's not like that, because listen, I have totally dropped the whole, at least for this year for sure. I'm not charging for features, yo. Like, I've talked to a bunch of artists, like, yo, if you want to do something, like I'm not charging you up front. Obviously, I want my points, I want my royalties, my pub, that sort of thing. But I can't in good conscience look at myself in the mirror and say, hey, Adam, you're trying to build this unity. You're trying to build something much bigger that doesn't only include you, unless you include other people and give them the opportunity to do it. A lot of these people can't afford what we are all worth on the mic. You know what I'm saying? And when I say that, I'm talking about our talent, all right? Like, a Merkham's talent level is probably worth a crazy amount of money. Adam Bomb's talent level is worth a crazy amount of money. But the problem is that the people that we can touch, that we can go outside and work with on a daily basis, they can't afford that. You know what I mean? So if you're trying to get that out of them, well, that's why you're not hearing, you should hear Merkham's on everything, everywhere right now. You should hear all of, like, that short list of artists. And like I said, I'm not going to go through who's on the list. That you can make your own decision who's on that list. But there's a short list of artists that should be on fucking everything, just because they can create that wealth. Like, they're that good at their job. You know what I mean? And like I said, if all of the top guys were all working together consistently, that would start building the unity. But like I said, a lot of people, they're not actively contributing to this so-called unity that they want, because they're not willing to, hey, let's do the work. Don't worry about, like I said, I know you can't afford it, and it's okay. Listen, I know a lot of people don't call me because they are intimidated for whatever reason. I don't know why. Like, listen, the Bomber's a nice guy, okay? Like I said, I don't bite much. You know what I mean? So please don't be shy to, like, hit me up in the DMs, shoot me a text, whatever. Like, my number's, the business line is open. Like we'll get your call, we'll get your message, you know what I mean? But like I said, you got to have somebody that can describe what unity looks like, what a unified Arizona is going to be. And then you also have to have somebody that's willing to actually put in the work, like, do something. There's going to be sacrifice. There's going to be things that you're going to have to give up. And like I said, what you're giving up, for me anyway, has always been that front end. Like, yo, do not worry about some fee for me to rap. Like, I love rapping. I love creating new stuff. I love working with different artists. You know what I mean? And you can always tell the artists that's kind of their mind state, and the artists that are operate in a different way. You know what I'm saying? And like I said, I'm not saying there's anything wrong with that, but what I'm saying is, don't come at me with, I want unity, blah, 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 if you're not actively willing to do things that are unified. And then the other thing that's telling, which is why you kind of need to be media trained, like, you need to kind of know what you're doing in these interviews, because little slick things that are said can kind of reveal a whole lot. The whole comment about like I don't chill with these dudes kind of comes across as people thinking that you're better than someone. You know what I'm saying? And like I said, we've got to kill the ego in AZ. Like there is no clout in AZ. I've said this shit a million times, and I'll say it a million more if I have to. None of you cats are like moving the needle. All right, it's not a fucking thing. You know, okay, that is not happening. You know what I mean? And so, you know, we need to understand that, hey, we are all together trying to get to a common goal. And like I said, just naturally through the process, people are going to fall off and the cream is going to rise to the top. So like I said, like I don't need to put my foot on any of these guys' necks, because if you turn on the music, like, you know, like, I mean, this is Arizona. Like it's right there. You know what I mean? So yeah, I didn't like that. Like I said, so, but you know, to kind of put a nice bow on all of this, yeah, Arizona needs to get unified. There is not unity currently, for a lot of different reasons, and I think that's something that we should talk about. I think the artists should get together and talk about it. I think media should get together and talk about it, and so we can kind of put everything on the table. I know that I think was it Academics of Charlemagne just did like a public discussion, because they've been fucking back and forth for a while now, and I think that's where it's going in the future. It's going to be a lot more, let's talk on camera publicly, so everyone just so we can kind of see what it is. You know what I mean? You kind of know. And like I said, and I understand why a lot of these things aren't public. Is just because a lot of folks are trying to get these finesses over. You know what I mean? And like I said, I've said it a million times, and I'll say it another million times. It's like, if you just ask the right questions to these people, they expose themselves. You know what I mean? Like, you don't have to. You don't have to go in something saying that I'm gonna expose this person. If you just ask the proper questions, and you have the right information, like it's very easy to kind of determine that. And like I said, you make it very easy for other people to see. You know what I mean? So yeah, that was the start of this. Cornelius, is there more to this clip?
A little over 12 seconds.
Oh, there's more. Okay, all right, play it.
I could lie and say, yeah, man, we're one, but that's not what I see. Is that what you see? I know you don't want to get your opinion. Is that what you see? What you see?
I think there is a lot of back and forth between artists, me. There's a lot of back and forth between everybody right now.
Yeah.
All right, and see, this was a big ass nothing burger. That like, who of any status? Well, what substantial back and forth are you talking about? Like, maybe I'm missing something. Is there some like Cold War going on that like I don't know about? I think when it comes to media, the disconnect is that every little group has their selection of artists that they want to succeed, and then for the artists, I guess it would be that every artist wants them to succeed and not anyone else. So but like, if there's some giant conflict that nobody knows about, then please enlighten us. You know what I mean? Like, I haven't heard of any back and forths or whatever you say that have been going on that have like absolutely drawn my attention or anything like that. Like I said, and like, I mean, maybe I don't know, but like I said, please elaborate. Please elaborate. But yeah, so I mean, that's the first clip. That's pretty much it. And so Cornelius, let's go on to the second one. Let's pull up the second one. Go ahead and play that.
Who are like some of the top artists that you see that's really making waves in the city right now? Real motion, right the fuck now.
Y'all see that look? That's a look of a guy that forgot he had a pop quiz Monday morning. That's a look of a guy that just got hit with an SAT question and he ain't quite too sure. Listen, look, first of all, okay, waves in the city. All right, what does that mean? See, this is when I'm gonna lean towards, all right, this is an AZWayTooActive and a stats thing. Like this, I don't like this question. What is waves in the city? And then bigger than that, what is real motion? You know what I mean? What is real motion? How about this? I got a list of let's try to figure out what real motion is. Okay, let me ask you this. Okay, real motion is an artist with, let's say, 20,000 monthly listeners, but probably 90% of those listeners are coming from one song which has a major feature on it. Is that real motion? Okay. What about an artist that is generating $3,000 a month from his music / business? Is that real motion for an artist? What about an artist that maybe has a hit supposedly, and then a month later they're promoting a brand new hit? Is that real motion? I mean, listen, y'all are gonna have to tell me. How about an artist that has big time features, but all of those big time features are retired rappers that were hot 20 years ago? Is it real motion if we have an artist that is traveling from state to state, opening up for local open mics? Or maybe they're opening for someone that the mainstream audience isn't going to listen to anyway. Is that real motion? These are just basic questions to figure out whether people kind of know what they're talking about. Arizona has no idea what real motion is because they've never had real motion. Let me take that back. Okay, Willie North Pole had real motion. Okay, Futuristic had real motion. There's a few folks that like experience real motion, but like I said, as we've talked about in past episodes, like Arizona didn't know what to do with the real motion when they got it. Like and like I said, we're gonna continue this clip, but like right off the bat, this question, I mean, the person that's asking the question probably has no idea what real motion is. You know what I mean? Making waves in the city, what does that mean? You know what I mean? If you pop out to the strip club every weekend, is that real motion? You know what I mean? If I'm streaming for 200 people fucking every other week, is that real motion? And like I said, maybe it could be. Like, these are just blatant kind of like just a list of things to ask. Like, hey, is this real motion or is this not? You know what I'm saying? So I think that's the first thing that you would have to hunker down. And then the other thing is, asking like an underground artist, like a local artist, this question, I think is a little bit of a setup because, yeah, there might be, one or two easy ones that right off the head, like, yeah, I guess I could say that guy has real motion, or, yeah, I guess I could say that girl has real motion. But very quickly, they're just going to start naming off their friends, and they're going to start naming off, the most recent person that they've heard of. You understand what I'm saying? And that's a setup because then it has the artist looking like he don't know what he talking about. You understand what I'm saying? So yeah, let's continue this and you'll see what I'm talking about. Cornelius, let it run.
Fuck man, of course Cactus Boys doing their shit. Mm-hmm.
So Cactus Boys, yeah, like I think I would say Cactus Boys has real motion. You know what I mean? I think Cactus Boys is doing something special. You know what I mean? I know that they somebody told me that they put out an album. Like I need to listen to it. You know what I mean? Because I think that was one of the things that they were kind of getting kind of harped on. Was like, yo, man, can you like actually make an album that people want to listen to? So like hey, that gives music fans something to do. So yeah, I would agree with the Cactus Boys thing. What else?
What You Call is coming, Mystic, and with the Sorry Baby.
Yeah.
I've been in my bag lately.
That's a good one, right?
Yeah, nah, that's one that I'm hearing.
Sizzle Fool and 5280 Mystic.
Yes.
So I don't know much about these people. I mean, he clearly doesn't either. He had no idea what their name was. But I'm gonna let you all do the homework on them, and you tell me whether their music has motion. Like I said, I don't know. But I mean, where's the bar in Arizona? Like I said, this is when you need to define where the bar is for what real motion is. Because I got a sneaky suspicion this might be one that falls below the bar. I don't know. Like I said, after this, I'll look into it. But yeah, I don't know, man. All right, let's do another one.
Niggas is still doing they shit, man. I know Big Doobie just burnt down the radio station and shit like that.
Big Doobie, yeah, that's my guy. But real motion, he just mentioned a freestyle on the radio. Is that real motion now? Like, is that? Listen, we're just talking. I'm asking questions. Like, where is the bar, man? Because it's getting bad really quick. It seems like that bar is super duper low. So you're telling me anybody that does, you know what I mean, a freestyle on a radio station, is that real motion? This is what I'm saying. Like, you cannot set these people up, because now what's happening is not only is Merkham's looking a little crazy, but he's shouting out names that anybody that has a brain in their head, and now is like, wait, huh? It's like doing a little double take. You know what I mean? Like now they're looking kind of crazy. Like so, this I didn't like this question. I don't like this question because you started off with no kind of guideline to what real motion is, what a real wave in the city is. Man, this is not going great. All right, let's keep going.
Yeah, man, I know Jada Pink dropped some shit. I can't keep up with everything.
Mm-hmm. Jada Pink. See, now he's at the point where I'm just naming my friends. You know what I mean? Like, yo, it's one of those things where it's like, yo, it's these questions I think need to be discussed with like AZ Media that has the time to look into a multitude of artists, because I can tell you, like, from firsthand knowledge, as an artist, I ain't got time to fucking keep track of everybody. Like, I don't. Like I said, I'm not dismissing anyone. Like, there's probably a ton of amazing artists out there that I don't even know about. But if you ask me about, hey, yo, Adam, like, who's popping in the city? Like, dude, I wouldn't know. You know what I mean? I wouldn't know just because there's not a place that I can go to get that information. You can't get it from the radio station. There's not some specific platform that is there's no unification of, oh yeah, like everybody is saying that this dude is killing it or this girl is killing it. Like, so, you have to take all of your info that you get with a grain of salt and circling back to my point is that you get to a point when you ask somebody a question like this that does not know, they're going to end up just naming their friends or naming people that they think are doing something big. That the friend of a friend told me that this song is cool from this one band that is located in Tempe or something. Yeah, just something like that. You know what I mean? But there's more to this clip. Let's keep going.
What you call? Shout out to King Emmett, him. The Kings. All of them, they on the road right now. Yeah. They doing their shit. So,
King Emmett, yeah, yo, I like him. They're dope. And then the Kings, I'm assuming he's meaning the Underground Kings. Yeah, like they're on tour, fucking every 2 weeks. You know what I mean? Bar to bar shit, which is cool. Like I said, that's more kind of my thing. Like I'm a bar guy. You know what I mean? I came up club style. Like, you know what I mean? Them hole in the wall places are my favorite. You know what I mean? So I'm definitely not disparaging none of that. But that's the other thing about, what is real motion? You know what I mean? If I'm on tour, let's just say I'm doing 20 shows in venues that I'm filling with, I don't know, 25 people, how much credit am I getting for that? You know what I mean? And like I said, I'm not saying that anybody is doing that, but I'm trying to figure out where the bar is, and this is a media thing. You know what I mean? As an artist, obviously, like I should know this, but in Arizona, there's zero type of structure anywhere. And so I'm trying to figure out where is the bar. If I am able to do, 15 shows with 100 people per show, depending on how the business is worked out, like maybe I make money, but are we considering that a win in Arizona? You know what I mean? If I do 15 shows with 100 people and then walk away with, $200 in my pocket, am I gonna consider that a win? You understand what I'm saying? Because like I said, you have to pay for all this shit. Like, and like I said, I don't want to get into business on this episode, but like when it comes to touring and shit, I think there's a lot of overhead that people have no idea on, and just there's a lot of artists that pay to go on tour and are not getting paid to tour, if you know what that means. But yeah, no. So whether y'all would consider that to be real motion with these people that he named, that's totally up to you. Like it is what it is. I couldn't care less. But anyway, what else?
You know who I fuck with? Who's the punk rock band?
Sam X.
Hell yeah. I fuck with them. And I fuck with Lil Barbie. I
Yeah.
like them too.
She fire.
Yeah. Lil Barbie. Now that I'm really thinking, like, hold on, let me think. Tucson, that was in the shoot.
Hothead K.
Yeah, he's fire. Mm-hmm. And yeah, man, there's niggas doing that shit out here for sure.
You see what I mean? At some point, it's just random names. So that's like, it's, you know what I mean? And I get it. And listen, and that's because, dude, it's not the artist's job to stay up on other artists in their collective area, city, state, region, whatever. You know what I mean? Listen, Arizona media right now has a hard enough time staying up with what's hot, what's cool, what's good, what's great. Like they can't do it. So why would you expect the artists to do it when they've got so much other shit on their plate? You know, and that's the thing. Like this, y'all gotta understand that in this day and age, the artist is doing everything. Quit assuming that the artist has all of this free time to do more shit. Like that's not the case. Like, you know what I mean? And even when we do like free up some time, like for instance, dude, I'm working on music now that y'all probably won't hear till like 2030. You know what I mean? Like we're 2 albums ahead and like with a boatload of singles to drop whenever. But that free time, just because I'm so far ahead and have able to kind of free up that time, I'm not using it to stay looped in on what other artists are doing. Like, no, I'm gonna use that to try other businesses, try other ventures, like try to find another way to make another dollar. You understand what I'm saying? So when you ask these questions, I just think just right off the bat, it's not something that benefits the artist, and like I said, it does more harm than good. You know what I mean? Like so we need to stop putting our people in kind of situations where they could possibly falter. So I like I said, I lay this at the feet of kind of Staz and AZWayTooActive. Now Merkham's and his team, they don't get out of it scot free. You know what I mean? They definitely should have had some sort of a game plan. I feel like any scenario that an artist of our caliber gets into, like, hey, yo, what are we gonna talk about? You know what I mean? Like, I'm not saying that you need to give me the play-by-play, word-for-word kind of what we're going to go. But, like, what is the type of stuff you want to cover? Give me some sort of roadmap so I can make sure that it's a good conversation. You know what I mean? It's engaging and it's something that other people would want to watch. And most importantly, that it doesn't have the artist looking crazy. You know what I mean? Looking uninformed. You know what I mean? That is not what you want at all. That's it's the media's job to kind of stay up on what other people are doing and not the artists. And that's the other thing. Like, I do know that I think it's Phoenix Hip Hop is going to come out with their 75 artists of Arizona or whatever. I know that they did it last year, and last year it was a big thing because and I say big thing because it kind of stirred up I guess arguments, because I think it was labeled as like top 75, and that's where people had the issue. And like I said, I've said that before. You know what I mean? Like anytime you start putting top of anything, like, yo, most people in Arizona can name off the top of their head, 10 people that when you're talking about the best, the top of anything, that have to be in there. And I think that's why that list last year kind of got the pushback that it did. I don't think this year it'll be labeled as top anything. And that's just because, first of all, being able to find 75 quality artists in Arizona, like, I mean, there's a lot of artists in Arizona. Like, there's a lot of music, but are there 75 quality artists? You'd have to show me, you know what I mean? And then that's kind of the rock and the hard place that you find yourself in, because you're not going to find a music fan that is going to do the research and listen to 75 artists that you give them. You understand what I'm saying? And if that's the case, then what are you doing it for? Like, it's not going to benefit the artist. Is it just to go viral? Which there's nothing wrong with that. I'm just saying, you know what I mean? But like I said, these are the conversations that we have. It's like, yo, should I participate in this? Should I want to be a part of this? What is it? Because like I said, I'm telling you, there's a group of artists that ain't looking for validation. Like once again, I've said it before, I'll say it again. When it comes to me and a lot of other artists, all you have to do is turn on the music. You turn on the music, like, you know what's up. You know what I mean? And so therefore, if something is not right on whatever list, people are not really, you know what I mean? They're it ain't moving the needle. People ain't moving because of that anymore. You know what I mean? But that's something, like I said, we just did a list breakdown. Like, I went through a list in a previous episode. Like, what was that list? The motion meter. Yeah, it was called motion meter. Like, yo, and literally, like, we went through a list. I made a list, and yo, like, the list I made would have smoked that list. You know what I mean? Like, the way I look at it is like, yo, man, if I can make a list of just random artists that will make a better album than your list of artists, then you don't know what you're doing. You know what I mean? And I know that this is kind of one of the benefits of being an artist and having a good ear and knowing kind of what's it and what's not. But yeah, man, like, that's kind of the measuring stick for me. Like, if I can get a group of people that can make a better album than the group of people that you come with, well, then You know what I mean? I don't know. But anyway, so that's what's coming in the future for Arizona and list, I guess. I know everybody gets like hopped up about these lists. Once again, I wouldn't put too much stock into it, but just kind of take it with a grain of salt and keep it moving. You know what I mean? So, all right. That was that interview. Like I said, if you thought the interview was good, bad, whatever, but we definitely went through it and kind of explained just how both sides looked a little crazy. It probably shouldn't have went down with that. And then the other thing is that, if you're gonna have a conversation with me, like, we're having a sit down. You know what I mean? If we're not gonna do it over Zoom or Skype or whatever, then it's gonna be a sit down. None of this fucking stand in place. It's just like I said, nothing that I do personally is gonna be lumped in with everybody else. Like Adam Bomb is not gonna be just another interview on whatever platform. You understand what I'm saying? And I think that's when the conversation about creative control kind of comes into it, because it's like, I want to do this. Like I said, I want to work with a lot of people, but how can we make it special? You know what I mean? And like I said, not saying that what people are doing is not special, but like I said, if the Bomber's involved, we have to make it an event. You know what I'm saying? It has to be something that people will remember, that people will say something about, even if it is, oh man, he did all that, blah, 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 blah. You understand what I'm saying? Like I said, if you can't get love, hate will work just fine. You understand what I'm saying? So that's kind of how that thing is. But let's move on. Let's get back on Project Pipeline. So Cornelius, we're going to talk about the radio station. Yeah. Yeah. I'll be right back.
They just be yakking and they saying shit, talking in circles, obnoxious and shit. I got the juices 100% for only the real legit. You ain't saying nothing.
You ain't saying nothing, my G. When push up a button, that habit just coming and flees. Suck me till I fall asleep. Then you got.
Okay. All right. So we're back. All right. So Project Pipeline. All right. So we're going to continue with Project Pipeline. We're on the second level. But just for a quick recap, in previous episodes, we talked about level 1 was a foundation. Level 1 was basically AZ's media, and their job was to find dope songs, dope artists, and just kind of collect them into a group and hand off that group, that list of names, songs, whatever, to the second level. And the first people in the second level was the DJs. And we talked about the DJs, how, a lot of the DJs are 8-second DJs. They're listening to fractions of songs, which doesn't kind of help or benefit anyone. But whatever, if you do that, then that's terrible. If you don't, well, then you're one of the good ones. Let's keep it that way. All right. So, but now we're going to get into the radio station, and we're going to get into the radio station because the radio station can possibly pull a lot of weight. They can make things happen. So in Phoenix and Arizona, it's Power 98.3. And like I said, I don't have the ill will towards them like a lot of people. Like I know, a little bit of backstory. For years, there's been this beef between the radio station and the underground. You know what I mean? The underground is where a lot of artists are coming up, trying to get their footing, trying to figure out whether they'll be able to make their way in just music as a business. And I think a lot of them were expecting the radio station to help out and do a lot. And now, while they can, so the radio station can absolutely do a ton for artists, they shouldn't always. And what I mean by that is recently a lot of people have been complaining that the radio station is not giving opportunities to new artists, playing new music. My pushback on that is that I understand kind of where the radio station is coming from, because a lot of these people that are complaining that they're not playing folks from the city, they're not playing this, they should be messing with this guy, is that who do you want them to play and like push on a regular basis? Because a lot of the people that y'all in the underground are trying to like propel this is just not there. Okay, so what song do you want them to play? All right, who is that song going to do something for? What's the general audience? Like, who is that song going to be able to target and get to and kind of bring them into the radio station. Because you got to understand, nobody's doing anything for free, okay? So if like the radio station is going to play your song, what are they getting out of it? Now, if you can explain to them like, hey, I've got this great song, it's great with the ladies, it's great with the Hispanic community, and it's going to bring those ears, and they're going to stay, at your radio station. All right, well, that's cool. But I don't think that y'all have presented anyone that can do that. You know what I mean? We have a bunch of artists that are getting these spot plays all over the radio, and nothing's happening. And like I said, that's not saying that the music is bad. I just don't think that there's God, how can I say it? There's not enough depth. There's not enough girth to these artists that is going to entice someone to discover more, to do some research, to stick around, to possibly hear more of what they have to offer. And so it doesn't give the radio station any incentive to play that particular artist. I mean, it's almost like some of y'all have never done an artist pitch before. You know what I mean? Like, you're just saying, hey, I have this artist, I have this song, play this song. Cool. Why should I play this song? Explain to me. This goes back to my thing about a lot of y'all people don't have any vision. What's the vision for this artist and this song? Like, for me, when I'm trying to collab with people and work with people, i.e. the radio station, I'm not looking for a short-term thing. I'm not looking for you to play this one song 2 times and then that be it. No, listen, I can express that, hey, this is the song that we need to run for a month, 2 months, okay? Depending on how that song responds, how the audience responds to that, we're going to either pivot in this direction or pivot in that direction. And there's steps and steps and steps and steps after that I can lay out. Can y'all lay those things out? You know what I mean? Like I said, I don't think it's that the radio station doesn't want to help Arizona culture, Arizona music, Arizona hip hop as a whole. I think it's that they have not been delivered anything that is worth their time and effort. You know what I mean? And like I said, you can't blame them for that. And I know this sounds like I'm shooting, Power a whole ton of bail. I know that y'all have got this thing with, what's his name? Jay Steele, I guess. Something about like polys, like is he a polygamist? Like I don't care. That's none of my business. I don't give 2 shits about none of that. Okay, like I said, I've never seen that. I don't care. When we're discussing things, it's about, hey, music, business, growth for both parties. Like, that's what everybody should be focused on, not anybody's personal life. You know what I mean? But like I said, the big takeaway that I want you to get from this little soliloquy or whatever is that the underground has not presented a long-term plan with an artist, songs, albums, whatever, that I think the radio station should take seriously. You know what I mean? Like, I'm so tired of especially, there's a lot of DJs that do it, but like complaining that, y'all aren't playing the young cats, y'all aren't playing this, y'all aren't playing that. Okay, well, why should they? Why should they? Explain to me like a best case scenario if I play this song. Explain to me a worst case scenario if I play this song. Because I'm telling you, listen, a lot of people, we've gotten trapped in these communities where, like I said, there's like 200 people max, if that. A lot of these like small platforms, they've got maybe 50 regulars that are like, locked in, tuned in. And you want the radio station to play your artist. Cool. Your artist plays, the radio station plays your artist, and like the cap, the ceiling will be your 50 people that already like him. That doesn't benefit the radio in any way, shape, or form. You understand what I'm saying? So that's my thing. It's like, please, y'all quit bitching about the radio station not playing your guy when your guy probably shouldn't be played on the radio station. You understand what I'm saying? Or listen, if you want your guy to be played once or twice, don't they have like didn't the radio station, don't they have like a beat show on like, Buried on Sunday and like Purgatory or some shit? Like give it to them. Like, y'all are all tight. Like, give those artists those songs that, you want the badge that I got a song played on the radio. Let them play that shit Sunday morning. Let that shit compete with, I don't know, TD Jakes or whatever. You know what I'm saying? Like, but if you want something played in prime time, like hours where folks are like listening to the radio. Now, I don't know who listens to the radio like that anymore. That's a whole nother conversation for another day. That's a conversation that I would love to have with the radio station. Like, Power, listen, I'm not against you. Like, I'm a guy coming with solutions. So if you want to talk about how possibly we can make changes that I think could benefit just the city and not only, the radio station as a whole, we can do that. But like I said, this is when it comes back to I run businesses, multiple businesses, consulting is one of them, and that there would be some payment involved with that, and that is solely because of your little Arizona hip hop picnic that you threw a couple years ago. It's funny how nobody talks about that. When is the last time somebody discussed that little powwow that the radio station had with all of the artists a couple of years back? All the artists went to. I didn't go. Like I said, I wasn't invited. They don't want me in any rooms because Adam's not with the fuckery. I'm not with the bullshit. Like, I'm there to get shit done. I'm asking the right questions, and if you don't have the right answer, I know you're full of shit, and I'm probably walking out. Which is just not something when you're trying to fucking snow a room. Yeah, you don't want me in that room because I'm above the fray. You know what I mean? But yeah, y'all invited all of these artists, and I would love to know what y'all talked about. Okay, because to my understanding, I don't have any details, but I believe that the radio station promised the artist to do something. I would love to know whether that got done. And then I also would love to know what is it that the radio station was hoping to get back from the artist. Like, because there's always a give and take. All right. And if there wasn't a give and take, it was a sham from the jump. You know what I mean? So like that whole conversation, please, somebody enlighten me on like the details of this meeting, because like, and the sad thing is that's the other thing, earlier we were talking about how a lot of Arizona media makes artists kind of look bad. You made every artist that showed up to that meeting look like a fool almost, because what was it for? I mean, they invited y'all in, they gave y'all a turkey sandwich, and they told y'all to get the fuck out. That's what it looks like. You know what I'm saying? Like, and it's like, and I hate that for the artists, but like, that's why, was there anyone in that meeting? I'm going to call it a meeting. Do I think it was a meeting? I really don't. I really think it was for show. It was something that Power did to kind of get the local artists, the local media, like the local music scene kind of off their back. It was a dog and pony show. You know what I mean? It was a big ass smoke screen. You know what I mean? Which I'm not knocking them for, because like I said, the underground has been going hard at the radio station for years. And so them doing something to kind of like, kind of quiet the noise isn't something that I wouldn't expect. But yeah, I don't think that meeting did anything. And like I said, please, if I'm wrong, I would love for somebody to correct me. I know Richie Evans was there. I think Doobie was there. I don't know, was Merkham's there? Who of any, I mean, like I said, I didn't say anyone of any stature for real, but like who was there that can like break it down? Hey, this is what took place. Because I haven't seen it, and like I said, the people haven't seen it, and I know that a lot of folks they're just not even bringing it up anymore. But I think it's hilarious that like they invited y'all in, gave y'all a bag lunch, and like totally played y'all for like however long you were there, 2-3 hours or whatever. Because I at this point I'm not sure it was a meeting. Like I said, I don't think it was a meeting. I think it was a publicity stunt to kind of get y'all artists kind of off their back. But once again, this is like I said, I'm not shooting bail to either side, because if I'm the radio station, why should I play y'all? Break it down to me how this benefits everyone, and we can go from there. But I don't think any of y'all have had that discussion, because I'm now once again coming to the realization that maybe Arizona doesn't know how to pitch an artist, you know what I mean? Or doesn't know what kind of artist they need to pitch to certain people, you know what I mean? Listen, that super duper trap drill underground shit ain't gonna play on the radio, bro. Like, I mean, we might love it, you know what I mean? But like, are there enough people in Arizona that are gonna fucking latch on to that shit? You understand what I'm saying? And I think that's where the radio is kind of taking their stance at, and like I said, I don't blame them, like I said, but we definitely need to come together, because if we can get the radio working and Power, the radio stations what I'm talking about, Power 98.3, but if we can get them working in conjunction with us, stuff's gonna happen. But unfortunately, there's way too many people that have an opinion on who should be played, what should be played. And we're past this idea of, I want to put my friends on. No. Like, I need the best that I can find, and somebody that can pitch a vision that can work, that will work. You know what I mean? And like I said, I can do that. Like I said, I am the jack of all trades. You know what I mean? I'm the fucking Swiss Army knife. But like I said, I'm not going to force myself on anyone. I'm not going to push myself on anyone. Like, my shit's here. Like, I'm making money. I'm doing great. I'm doing just fine. But I would love to work with a lot of people. And in order to do that and make it happen and make it successful, I think discussions need to be had. But like I said, as far as the radio station, just understand, because of that little stunt you pulled with the artists and the fucking turkey sandwiches, yeah, I mean, you're not going to be able to sway me with cold cuts. Like, that's not going to happen. You know what I mean? But let's get on Jay Steele, because he did something that I thought was absolutely hilarious. Yo, it was so funny. And let's take a break, and then we'll get to it.
Disrespect is a painful lesson. Take care of business is a daily message. We bikers, yeah. Color zone, we 50 deep, ran to impress. The road, no destination. We put in miles to relieve stress. Outlaw and I'm patch wearing, so the tool is sitting underneath the vest. Try to take it, you're so mistaken. Come test the crew and get put to rest. No bullshit, we party hard.
Okay, so we're gonna talk about my man Jay Steele. And listen, like I said, I got nothing against him. I think he's a nice guy. I got no problem with him whatsoever. Like I said, when it comes to different people, we all have ideas of maybe something that somebody should do, something shouldn't do, ways they should move. Like we all have opinions on that. But like when it comes to the person, like I don't think this guy's a bad guy, but I do think what he has done recently is fucking hilarious, and it's a little bit below the belt. Like it's definitely the dude's trolling hard, but it's so funny because if you know about this Arizona Underground beef with the radio station, like this makes this absolutely hilarious. All right, so let me explain to you what's going on. Okay, so apparently now, actually, you know what? Let's play the clip first. All right, Cornelia, let's play the clip.
Apparently, Steele wears many hats.
You just not realizing that?
Yeah, you're an artist management now? What's going on?
Okay, yes. I am managing these two artists. Actually, one of them I've known for years as a music producer.
Yeah.
And he actually, you know how some people call themselves a producer and they're in their closet doing things? Like this guy has had professional grade equipment, seriously in the lab for years. I mean, been sending me beats. And now he has an artist that he's been working with, producing for.
Yeah.
And I said, you know what? The music is fire. I want to get more money than what radio's paying me. I'm getting artist management. And I want to introduce these two young gentlemen. Shout out to RJ Melody.
Welcome.
And Omar. And they're actually Dominican. Talk about where you from, bro.
Yes, we're from the Dominican Republic. My family originally from, Barahona. That's more on the opposite side of the island. People are more familiar with the Punta Cana side.
Right.
Okay, Dominicano.
Yes, Dominicano.
There you go.
And Omar?
Dominican too.
Not from the same part, like a little bit.
No, I'm from Santo Domingo.
Okay, that's enough. We're not gonna play no more because that's really all I need to kind of explain this shit. And listen, I'm sorry, I'm not laughing at anyone in particular, but this shit is hilarious. Okay, so here's the backstory. So I told y'all for years, the underground music scene in Arizona has been beefing with the radio station because they say that the radio station does not do anything for underground artists. Whether that's true or not, you can fucking decide that for yourself. All right, but in the underground, everybody and their mama is in artist management, okay? Like every DJ is managing an artist, okay? Every personality is managing an artist. Yeah, dude, the guy that fucking picks you up in the lift car is managing an artist. Like it's crazy. The problem is that none of them have been successful at it. If you want to look at a grand scale, like none of them have done it good. Like it's just like a badge you can put on your resume. Like, hey, I'm in artist management. And that's what makes this Jay Steele thing so fun. Because, this is a troll. This is a giant fucking troll. He's basically rubbing y'all's nose in it that y'all all suck. You know what I mean? Like, if y'all can do it, I can do it. Y'all want to talk so much shit about me? Like, I'm doing it too. And, we know who he's talking about. There's so many people that this applies to. So nobody try to act fucking stupid like they don't know what's going on, okay? But this gets a thumbs up from me just on like the level of troll that is going on. It is absolutely hilarious. But here's the flip side though. My man, have you discussed this with these two artists you're quote unquote managing? Because this looks like a skit. I'm not gonna lie, this looks like a giant fucking skit, and I need to know if they are in on it, or are you trying to be serious? I don't think you're being serious. I don't think you should be being serious. Like the jab at the underground is fucking hilarious. Like, come on now, listen. Anybody with a brain that like understands like just the politics in Arizona, this is fucking funny, bro. Because like I said, every fucking person is an artist manager and they've got nothing to fucking show for it. Why can't he add that shit to his resume? You know what I mean? And the funniest, if he really wants to dig in, all them people that y'all say he's not playing, throw them to the wayside and play these two dudes. Like this shit's hilarious, bro. This shit is so funny. But it is below the belt, dude. It is kind of like, it's one of those things where it's like, all right, man, y'all been picking on this dude for a while. Like y'all, he talks about nothing about polys. I gotta understand what the story is behind that. But y'all keep trying to dog this guy out, and now the guy's kind of lashing back, and he has every right to. Like, this is great. I'm not. This is hilarious. I'm tuned in. Like, I want to know what's going on here. Like, 'cause this is funny. Like I said, I said it once. I do feel bad for these guys because I don't think they understand that and maybe I'm wrong, but it just looks like they're being pawns. Like just look at the video, yo. It looks like a fucking skit, bro. It does, you know what I mean? But it's so funny that fucking Steele is poking fun at all these people in Arizona that quote unquote are artist managers. Like, because let's be honest, no, you're not. None of y'all are fucking artist managers. Like, get the fuck out of here. You know what I mean? So, like I said, that's the funny thing here. That level of troll is just, I mean, yo, I almost died laughing the first time that I saw this because I couldn't believe that he would do it. Second, like, this is a question I had. Is this something that the radio station needs to be like tuned into, or is this something that you can just do? You understand what I'm saying? Because you're totally poking fun at fucking Arizona. Like, you're totally like, which is, like I said, I do think it's kind of below the belt, but like it's hilarious, and they kind of deserve it with because they've been fucking trying to rag the dude. You know what I mean? And like I said, I'm not fucking coming to his rescue and nothing like that. I'm just letting y'all know that anyone that's mad about him doing this, like, you blame yourself for it. You know what I mean? Like, it's just you this is kind of due. So, you know what I mean? Like I said, I know nothing about the artists. Maybe they're great. I have no idea. But I just hope they understand that they've kind of been woven into a little petty beef between, you know, the radio station and folks in Arizona's underground music scene. But yeah, dude, listen, when you troll, you want it to be at this level, because this is classic. This is hilarious, man. But anyway, listen, that's the funny part. You know, back to what we kind of need to talk about is that we got to work together. Okay, everybody, we're even now. Okay, yo, Jay Steele, you're even. Okay, you done proved your point. They know what it is. But I hope that we can have conversations about people and songs we can put on the radio that could possibly benefit everyone. Because like I said, if we can get a star, the entire fucking economy goes up in Phoenix and in Arizona. You know what I mean? And in order to do that, I know that the radio station needs quality artists. But like I said, and here's the other thing, you know, big Mr. Radio Man, don't act like you don't know where there are just some out of this world shit. Okay, like, there's too many people in Arizona that are now kind of like, oh man, I don't know where the music is. Oh, I don't know where the music is. Like, if people are onto that. Okay, people are onto that. Like, that's not gonna work anymore. Okay, if you want to make changes, if you want to do something new, if you want to kind of evolve, especially with the radio station. Like I said, I have tons of ideas. I have like a roadmap on the way that we could possibly do something for Arizona, but this is not a conversation that I would necessarily need to have with you. I would need to have it with your boss. Like what would I be allowed to do? What would I be allowed to kind of control? And because you need fresh blood, and you just need a complete overhaul of, hey, how can we make the radio, even in this day and age, still a major part of not only music, but just the city at large? Because listen, right now I think the only time that people are turning in to the radio is whatever giveaways y'all are doing. You know what I mean? And I don't say that as a dig. I say that as just you know, a word of fact. You know what I mean? You know, we want the Suns tickets, we want the concert tickets, we want all that. But like, you know, you're not tuning into Arizona to possibly get the lead on some new music. The radio station, I mean, you're not tuning into the radio station to get a lead on new music, and you could, you know what I mean? And like I said, I know that for years y'all have been able to get by with burying that, you know, local radio show on a Sunday. Like, bro, like, nobody's, you know, Sunday's fun day, it's rest day. Like, nobody is tuning into the radio to listen to whatever's going on. That's just not a thing. And I don't think it's fair to them, the people on that show. I don't think it's fair to the artist. So I think something new needs to be come up with to change that. Like I said, we're not going to get different results unless we just take different actions. And like I said, I've got a way to do that. So definitely reach out if you want to holler. We'll talk. But like I said, that would be consulting. So I'm just letting you know. Because like I said, that fucking cold cut giveaway was outrageous, bro. Anyway, but yeah, guys, that's gonna be it for today. And like I said, I know that was a very brief, quick overhaul of level 2 when it comes to Project Pipeline. The radio station, we need the radio station, but and like I said, the other thing, I'm not calling for anyone to lose their jobs. I think that we need more people, and maybe to do some reshuffling of the deck. You know what I'm saying? but all of this stuff is possible. All of this stuff can be done. But we need the radio station to work with local artists that can do their part. Because like I said, the radio station is going to carry a large load, but the artists have to be able to do their part. And like I said, there are artists that are capable of doing that, and then there are also very few artists that are able to do that plus a whole lot more. You know what I mean? And there's at least one I know that would be able to do kind of all of that if put in the right position. So like I said, man, there's more to level 2, not just the radio. I think there's I think Bootleg Kev is the next one we have to talk about. Like, so the radio station at whole is that's an entity. Like the radio station, we had the DJs, which is a bunch of people. We had the radio station, which is kind of an entity. And then we're gonna talk about next episode. We're gonna talk about Bootleg Kev, and Bootleg Kev is one person, and like I said, he is a big media guy in the realm of hip hop, but like I said, next episode, we're going to explain why that might be a little bit misleading and why there haven't been the return on just how widespread Kev has become, and why that there hasn't been kind of fruit growing on the tree. You know what I'm saying? But yeah, man, so listen, the Bomber's out. I'll catch y'all next time.